Covering news that matters. Fox 23 News at 5 starts right now.
The push for railroad safety has stalled out at the state capitol. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nathan Thompson. Shay is on assignment. Nearly 24 bills impacting railroads, their employees, and the towns they run through have been unable to make it out of legislative committee. Fox 23's Devin Lyon takes a look at why these bills are failing and the frustration behind those efforts.
Oklahomans will just have to wait before any changes are made to improve overall safety and concern around railroads. Trains are a normal traffic stop, with the railroad passing through nearly every town in the state. Public concern rose last year in the wake of multiple derailments, blocked traffic for miles, and more recently, someone being hit and killed by a train in Tulsa on Monday. Bills at the state capitol hope to address issues like train length, car size, crew member size, braking, safer intersections, or even grants to improve infrastructure. However, none of the 18 bills made it out of committee in either the House or Senate.
Those bills are not dead. They're dead for this session, but they could come up again next year.
I spoke to State Senator Darcy Yeck. He's the chairman of the Senate Transportation Committee. He says there's a lot of federal guidelines they have to consider when looking at a bill impacting railroads.
There's a couple of agencies, actually federal agencies, that oversee most of the railroad things in Oklahoma and in all states. It's the Federal Rail Administration. I think the other one is the Surface Transportation Board. So they set out guidelines that most of the major railroad players go by, and also the short rails in Oklahoma. And there are a lot of those.
Senator Yeck also told me some lawmakers flat out withdrew their bills. Other bills turned over to be considered in next year's legislative session after more federal recommendations are taken.
When bills come across my desk at the state level, then we do compare and see what kind of requirements this may conflict with or go along with.
Every time you go up there, that's the excuse I get from the Capitol. I get that, we want to wait on the federal government. And we've been waiting on the federal government for 4 years.
Kyle Pence is with the union SMART, who represents rail workers. He says they are frustrated with the lack of change.
The excuse is getting old, and it's just time to go ahead and come out and Let's get this done. Let's get this done for the people of Oklahoma.
Pence says Oklahoma's infrastructure cannot handle the trains moving in and out of the state. He's calling it a public safety issue.
The Drillers baseball is fixing to start up. The tracks is a block away. If we have a major incident right there, you're not going to have time to get out of that stadium. And the same goes for Oklahoma City. If you're down for a night out on the town in Bricktown, the tracks run three blocks from Bricktown. So we're in the same situation there. You're out with your family. If something happens, you don't have time to get away from this. It is a major disaster that can happen.
Covering news that matters, Devin Lyon, Fox 23 News.
Some of those failed bills were turned over to have a legislative study done on them before being refiled for next year's legislative session.